Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Welcome everyone to Season 19 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and joining me in the commentary booth, as always, is Larry McLeod, and we've got Dennis Branch and Jonathan Grabowski in the virtual production truck, bringing you all the best camera angles and action that Apex Racing TV is known for. It's hard to believe that just 3 months ago we kicked off this season with perhaps the most ambitious schedule in CSS history, starting in Interlagos, then heading north to Montreal, then visiting some of the best in the UK and Germany and all that they had to offer. But tonight our MX-5 drivers head 25 miles east of Bologna, Italy, to a circuit that opened in 1953, first hosting motorcycles and then Formula One with its first non-championship event won in 1963 by none other than Jim Clark. Since then, it has played host to the Italian Grand Prix, the San Marino Grand Prix, and just last year, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. It's hosted some of the grandest victories in the sport and, unfortunately, some of the greatest tragedies. Tonight, for round number 9 and this season's finale, we head to the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari, better known as Imola. So, Larry, we've been around the world. We've run 60-minute races. We've run quick 30-minute sprints, thrown a monkey wrench in everybody's strategies with inverted grids this year. But tonight, with at least one championship as well as bragging rights on the line, tonight's 3-mile circuit, it's going to promote a lot of flat-out running. But, perhaps, it should present just enough passing opportunities to mix things up for our racers.
Oh, definitely. And as by the way, thank you, Greg, and welcome. And I think we're excited here for this finale. But yes, this Imola track, this is obviously where Formula One has run. They just ran a race here just last year through the streets of the city. And if you look around the geography, look over the tree lines, you'll see all these houses nestled right around the place. There's even a couple, I think, right there in the property of it. It's right in this beautiful Italian town. It's awesome. But F1 races here, and it's great. Those guys are flying around this place. But I think this place races better with cars like MX-5s. I think the speeds of these are going to open up opportunities for passing. I think this place is a lot of fun to race side by side through 3, 4, 5 consecutive corners. I think it's going to create it's a great backdrop for a championship finale.
Yeah, Larry, absolutely. Given all of the circuits that we've been through this year, and we've been to multiple Formula One circuits like Interlagos, like Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, and of course wrapping things up here. And I think this will be perhaps one of the best circuits. Obviously not built specifically for Mazda MX-5s, but they should race incredibly well here. Well, tell you what, why don't we hand things over to our own Kevin Ford? We're going to let him show you tonight's 3.5-mile, 19-turn Imola circuit in his track guide.
Welcome, everyone, to the beautiful Imola GP located right here in Italy. It's great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today around this 3-mile road course. Well, let's get ready to head up the front straightaway. You'll notice our main grandstand area to the left and our pit exit to the right as we cross the stripe and head around this very slight left-hander of turn 1. This is a very high-speed entry down into this first section here of turns 2, 3, and 4. Take this left-hander here, right back to the right through 3, and then open her up as turn 4 is just a slight left-hander here, a very fast sweeper that'll bring us down into Villeneuve. Another little S-curve here. This will be a slight left and then back to the right again through 5, through 6. Use up some of that track out area there to keep that speed and momentum up as we come into Tosa, one of my favorite corners here. Late rotating exit, or apex rather, you want to get right down to the bottom, use up all that track out area to get some speed to climb this hill. This takes us up to Piratella, turn 8. You will see some overtaking opportunities coming up into this section here, but I'll tell you, this corner is a tough one. It's a fast entry, but it does tighten up on exit. You see it closing up on you there. You got to use some of that track out. And then one of the most trickiest areas here at Imola. Down into the blind section of Acute Minerale. Fast braking down into this section here. Going to let this car rotate, take a little bit of curb, come right back to the left, and then up the hill towards turns 11 and 12. You're going to see another very tight right and left-hander here. This is probably the tightest chicane here at Imola. Right to the right back to the left, take a little bit of curb, open her up, track out off the corner, and here we go. Down into Ravazza. This is my favorite section of the course. A double left-hander, very fast entry, and very difficult on the brakes. You'll feel that back end wanting to break loose as you're coming down into this very fast section. Hard on the brakes, down into second gear, get that car to rotate to the left. Use some of that track out area. Now up through 15 here. Going to open it up and come out onto this very long and wide, massively huge front straightaway. A lot of overtaking opportunities here, obviously, as we come around 16 and approach the final right hand of 17. And you can see the kind of speed that can be picked up here on this front straightaway at Imola GP. There you go. There's your track guide. We sure appreciate you being with us. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much, Kevin Ford, for another exciting lap around our race circuit of the week. Tonight, it's Imola. And Larry, as we've got all of our MX-5 drivers here tonight, and they're starting to go out for their lone qualifying session where each driver will have 4 attempts to set a fast lap to set the grid for tonight's 60-minute race. perhaps, once the evening is over, once the race is over, especially for those big Mazda fans, there's a place for them to go where they can, find out more about the platform they're racing.
Well, as long as you're in Italy and you're a Miata fan, why not head over to the little region of Umbria, Italy, where there's a place called, I'm not kidding, Miata Land. It is world's largest private collection of Mazda MX-5s, the only Miata-themed luxury resort in the world. Who knew? I guess why would you have two of them?
Better than Disneyland, I guess.
You go there, for about $200-300 a night. You stay there. It's like a bed and breakfast. In the morning, you could take a drive in one of the Miatas for a spin. I mean, what better way to enjoy the experience of Italy and the MX-5s? If you're not racing at Imola, you may as well head over to Umbria and get yourself a Miata Land test drive and just hang out, have a couple of cappuccinos, and enjoy a top-down ride through the Italian countryside.
And watch everybody else in a Ferrari.
Hey, there's a Ferrari 250 GTO body kit on an MX-5 in the collection. Maybe you could drive that and look like you're in a Ferrari.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect, Larry. All right. So as you can see there, we've got drivers out on course right now. We're taking a look at Edgar Sancinelli, driver the number 57 Frito Sport entry. We're just a couple of minutes in the qualifying, and so that'll give us a little bit of time. As we mentioned, this is the finale. It's round 9, not week 9, but round 9 of our 9-round season. And so let's first off take a quick look back where we stood a couple weeks ago when the field was at Oulton Park in the UK. That was round number 8. We'll take first a look at the pro category, where Mike Dam took the win over Travis Schwenke and over Mitchell Peak after 30 minutes. Should be noted that John Allen, who's picked up a couple wins this year, was not in the field last week, and that has really thrown some curves into the point standings here for the pro category.
Gave some opportunities for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it really opened things up. And Mitchell Peak right now, coming into the last race, he has a 4-point advantage over Mike Dam. The two Canadians, we've got the 56th Esport Racer entry with 200 points. We've got the number 93 Orion Racing entry of Mike Dam with 196 points. And frankly, not all that far back, Travis Schwenke with 183. And then only 2 points back from there, we've got John Allen in the 101 Defined AutoWorks entry. He's got 181 points. And so given the points, how they're distributed in each race, I think any one of these drivers, frankly, are eligible to take the championship in the pro category.
Yeah, I agree. I think the top 3 for sure. I don't think John Allen's going to join us tonight, so certainly those top 3 have a good shot at it. But just looking at the point differential, 200 versus 196, 35 points will go to our race winner tonight, 32 to our second place, only a 3-point differential. So I think Mike Dam is going to need some help if he wants to win this championship tonight. And that help could come from Travis Schwenke.
That is quite possible there. We'll see how they grid up here tonight after our qualifying session. Right now we are just about 5 minutes into the 15-minute qualifying session. If we go, and we'll just quickly take a look at where we stand right now on the timing pylon. Mike Dam, your fastest pro category driver, with a fast time of 204.17. That is almost 0.2 of a second faster than Mitchell Peak in the number 56 machine. He's turned in a 204.33 as his fast lap. Both these drivers only have one flying lap in the books at the moment. And then Chris Thorman, third fastest in the pro category, with a 205.33, almost a full second back. All right,
just to note though, one quick note on this: Travis Schwenke is on his second lap, but doesn't have an official time yet. One thing about Imola in the iRacing platform is there are several places to pick yourself up a very unwanted and unhappy face event there, being an off track with a +1. That'll happen. It could be at the Variante Alta, coming out the edge of there. You can pick up one there. Certainly, at the prior corners, you got a couple of places. The Acqua Minerale, great place to run wide. Not only if you run too wide will you pick up an off track, you could also pick up a slowdown penalty there. And I suspect that perhaps Schwenke on his first lap may have picked up one of those off tracks somewhere. So he's out there in a second, needing to get one in to try and put himself up there into that top 3.
All right, so let's go. We'll take a quick look now at the open category, where last week, or not last week, but last round, Dean Dibdahl was able to join us, and he hasn't been here all season long. He's had a lot of other commitments, mainly school. But Dean raced with us here at Alton Park a couple of weeks ago, took the win over Brennan Horn. So the ZP Motorsports machine, he moved up, I believe, to 6th in the points. But we'll look at the points here in a second. Actually, I think the guys have it on screen right now. Brennan Horn, who's currently leading the championship, finished 2nd. Greg Brockway finished 3rd. Edgar Sancinelli finished in 4th. And so if we do look at the point standings, you can see here now, margin is 25 points from Brennan Horn back to Steve Daniels. Steve opened up the season with a win in the open category and has run very strong, but you'll notice things are very, very tight once you get back from Brennan Horn. By the way, we should be speaking with our current points leader coming into the final round, Brennan Horn, a little bit later before the cars grid up for tonight's race. So Steve Daniel with 145 points, only 3 points back from there. Edgar Sancinelli in that Frito Sport Racing entry, and then Greg Brockway with 137, but then Nick Parsono with 136, just one back from there. So, you know, it would really take almost an act of God for Brennan Horn to not take home the championship.
Don't want to say it's impossible, because in fact, while points wins and the number of points you get for each position might make it seem impossible, there are also penalty points handed out from time to time. In fact, Brendan picked up a -1 penalty point in our last round at Alton Park, so it is possible to lose points by running a race. So Brendan's going to have to certainly keep his nose clean tonight before he can say he can clinch it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, very, very close. Only 9 points separating 2nd through 5th in the championship. So again, we'll definitely be keeping an eye there on the open category. And the way you'll be able to tell all these cars apart, the pro category drivers from the open category drivers, is that the pro category drivers, they will have black mirrors on their cars, just like we see there, the number 60 car of Chris Thorman. And then if you take a look on the number boards on the side of the cars, there'll be black number boards with white numbers, whereas the open category, they will have red mirrors on their doors, just like Dean Dibdahl right there. And you see the number board on their door, a red number board with white numbers. And so you also see on the timing pylon, those cars and those drivers that are in the open category, they will have their position shown in red, and those drivers on course in the pro category, they'll have their numbers in black. And you'll see, just like we're showing Dean Dibdahl, if you look at that timing pylon, the car that we have and we're showing on course, or one of the cars that we're showing on course at the time, will have purple next to the name regardless of class. But Larry, we're now just about 2/3 of the way through the qualifying session.
Yeah, and I just saw Travis Schwenke, as we were talking about him earlier, his first lap, he must have gone off track. Well, he did the same with his second lap, but does lay one down on his third lap. Currently, he's third quickest. He's about 8/10 behind Mitchell Peak, so he's somewhere around that 2:04.5 range. So he's in that mix, but I'm sure his teammate Mike Dam would love to have Travis get up into that front spot and start putting pressure on Mitchell Peak. So he is definitely, Mike Dam, happy to see Travis getting a lap in there. Travis now still out there on his 4th lap, as is Mike Dam, and Mitchell Peak just bailed at his 4th lap, so I think he's done.
Yeah, it looks like he's done. He bailed right at the end of lap number 3, took the car down in the pit lane. And so he is going to stand on his 2:03.77.
Good look at the 93 there of Mike Dam, just clobbering these curbs around this place. You have to. You really do have to clobber curbs around here. But again, you got to watch those off tracks. Very, very easy to pick them up. But that wide right-hander there, you can come out of there pretty wide sometimes down there at the Tosa corner before you come up the hill to the Piratella, turn number 9 here, this left-hander.
Yeah, Tosa is somewhat of a hairpin, turn 7 here. Reminds me a lot of turn 7 actually at Road Atlanta, where you it looks like you could always try and shove the car underneath somebody else going into the hairpin, but it's that high risk, low reward type deal, because as you come out of there, you've got a fairly long straightaway. You've also got an uphill run, which certainly isn't going to be great for these cars. So it's you could always take that look, but if you have any traffic back behind you, it could certainly turn into trouble as you go down to Piratella down at turn 9.
Yep. And you come out of Piratella. I love actually that corner. It's right at the crest of a hill. You throw the thing across the apex. You can actually run some of the apron there without picking up that 1X, and it leads you all the way down the hill then to the Aqua Minerale, kind of a decreasing radius set of corners. But the Variante Alta, we just kind of watched the number 3 here of this should be Robert Hartley.
Yep.
They saw him going through the Variante Alta, which has the super tall curves right at the top of the hill, and it's the tightest chicane on the entire track. You'll see cars hitting that and doing damage to the cars if they hit it the wrong way, and it's really difficult to get a strong exit for the next run all the way down to Ravazza. So it's one of the critical corners on the lap.
All right, Larry, so we thought we were going to have Brennan Horn in tonight for our pre-race interview, and it turns out we're actually going to have Mitchell Peak, who is our current leader in the pro category. Let's bring him on in and get the interview, but so he can go out for his race.
All right, we are joined here by our points leader, 8 rounds in with 9 rounds total, Mitchell Peak. And Mitchell, any pressure you're feeling tonight coming in as the points leader, knowing it's a really tight race between you, Mike, and Travis?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's definitely some pressure. I don't think this is a position I've been in before, actually, being the points leader going into a championship event, let alone in such a great series as this. So, definitely a little added pressure tonight, but I think the game plan is the same as any other race, avoid turn 1 incident at the start. Just make sure we get away clean and let the race come to me. 60 minutes, so a long way to go. But looking at the times up front, it's definitely going to be quite the battle up there.
So if you're on the last lap, you see the white flag, and it's you and Mike. You guys are nose to tail. Do you want to be the front of that nose, or do you want to be the trailing driver?
Coming across the line at the end of that lap, I want to be the front of those two. When
you see the white flag with 1 to go, do you want to be leading?
I see the white flag with 1 to go.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's I guess that's all going to depend on how I'm feeling throughout the race. Do I feel like I can pass them on the last lap, or do I feel like I can hold them off? It's well, it's one of those things when you just got to let the race come to you. So
I'm sure you've run your share of races here. A lot of us have. Not the easiest places to pass around here, except maybe going into that turn 1, that first chicane.
I think that's going to be the biggest passing zone tonight. You got a mega run down the main straight. So, going into that turn 2, turn 3 chicane is probably going to be the prime opportunity to pass. How hard do we want to defend it, especially early in the race? I don't know. But, yeah, there's a couple other spots you can get around. But, man, there's a couple spots you definitely don't want to be side by side. So it's it looks like a forgiving track, but it's really not. It can bite you in a lot of places. So, just keep it clean. Keep it clean.
Just in case you manage to pull this off and win the championship, do you have a bottle of champagne next to you can crack open in your own living room there, or maybe a can of Molson or something?
I definitely got a can of something. Is it champagne? I don't think so. But yeah, if the championship goes my way, definitely going to try to have a celebratory drink. But we'll see. Long race, 60 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's about to start. We'll let you go. So thanks for joining us, Mitchell, and good luck tonight.
Thank you very much, guys. See you later.
All right. There's Mitchell Peak, driver, the number 56 Esport Racer machine, coming into the final round here in the Classic Sprint Series. He is your current points leader in the pro category. Okay, Larry, so qualifying is now done. We have drivers. They are gridding up for tonight's 60-minute race. Why don't we take a look at the starting order?
All right, on that pole position, an Esport racer. We just talked to him. He's Canadian. Don't let the American flag there dissuade you. He is a Canadian, Mitchell Peak, on our pole position tonight. On his outside, fellow countryman. This one, though, he's from Orion Racing. That's Mike Dam in the number 2. On row 2 on the inside, it's Mike Dam's teammate, Travis Schwenke from Orion Racing. On the outside of row 2, a D2D Esports racer, Chris Thorman. Row 3 on the inside, it's going to be another Orion Racing driver. This one's Robert Hartley. He'll be lined up alongside our open class leader on the qualifying, Dean Dibdahl from Dibdahl Racing. Row 4 on the inside, One of the prime competitors there right now leading the points in the open class, it's Brandon Horn from Esports Racer. He'll be alongside his teammate, Greg Mack. On row 5 on the inside, Frito Sport Racing's Edgar Sancinelli. He'll be lined up alongside Jeff Jacobs there on row 5. On row 6 on the inside, Esports Racer Jordy Fike. He'll be lined up alongside D2D Esports David Payton. On row 7 on the inside is going to be NAP Motorsports Nick Parsino. On the outside, SKKJ Racing's Steve Daniel. On row 8, another Esports Racer. This is Greg Brockway. He'll be lined up alongside Mike Taylor from Frito Sport Racing. And on our last row, we've got on the inside 046 Racing's John Casey, lined up alongside Frito Sport Racing Patrick Preventis. And that's our grid for our championship finale. And I'm excited about this one, Greg.
I am as well, Larry. In talking to some of the drivers coming out of practice tonight, definitely hyped up for this. And with two, again, as we were speaking to Mitchell Peak, again, it would take something close to an act of God for him not to come away with the championship tonight. But again, a lot of drivers trying to move up and have basically a lot to defend, both in the open and in the pro categories here, and with Mitchell Peak trying to hold off Mike Dam there, and did I say Dam had the championship locked up? I take that back. That was Brennan Horn in the open category. Yes, certainly not.
There's nothing locked up right now about the pro class category.
No, not at all. Again, as we mentioned, 2 points separating out the drivers that are going to both be on the front row this evening. It's going to be tight. We're going to have to see as we talk to Mitchell Peak. Obviously, he wants to get through turn 1 clean. I guarantee you that Mike Dam, if he's going to win the championship, he's going to have to get through turn 1 clean as well. As we've got the field, they've come out of Ravazza, out of the final turn. They're coming down the front straight as we have a short pace lap here. And as we get ready to take the start, they enter that start zone, and our pole sitter has the field. And green flag is in the air, and our leader, Mitchell Peak, now the pole sitter, he takes the point, gets around Mike Dam, and it looks like Travis Schweike has a great run, but he is going to settle right behind his teammate as they head through the very first corner, heading down to the first chicane here over at Tamburello, put in a number of years ago in order to slow things down for what at the time was turn 2, now turn 4. Right back behind Schwenke, we've got Thorman and Hartley. Brennan Horn gets around Dean Dibdahl, takes over the lead in the open category now as cars are starting to straighten out, heading over into the second chicane and over towards Tosa, the hairpin that we talked about, Larry.
Yeah, I think Mitchell Peak right now has got to feel like he's surrounded as Robert Hartley was able to get up there. So it's 3 Orion Racing drivers chasing down Mitchell Peak. It's like watching the Blues Brothers and all these Chicago cops chasing down the old Bluesmobile there.
As long as they don't all end up stacked on top of one another on a hill.
Hope not. I shouldn't have made that reference. I feel bad now. But you see him coming around that turn 9 Penatella and down this hill to the Aqua Minerale. And as we talked to Mitchell, really he had agreed that kind of the best passing zone is going to be that turn 2, that Tamburello chicane. So the rest of this, we're going to see a lot of lead and follow, just a lot of staying in line unless someone makes that big mistake. Aqua Minerale is one of those corners, easy to screw that one up. Right now, the top 4 through there cleanly, but behind them, I'm seeing a slowdown penalty being served already. That looks like Brennan Horan, actually our open class leader.
Yeah, that was Horn, the 45 machine. He's going to drop back behind Edgar Sancinelli. That's going to move him back to 3rd in class, but he gets right back around Sancinelli there, so move him back up to 2nd. But he's got 2 pro category drivers, Jordy Fike and Greg Mack, between he and our leader in class, Dean Dibdahl, as they now make their way down the hill, and I believe they're heading into the first Ravazza now, Larry.
Yes, they are, and that's where I think Brennan Horn's recovered just a little bit. He's got some pretty good pace there. Did not want to get behind Jeff Jacobs. He managed to stay in front of him.
Oh, and we've got Larry coming out of the final corner. I believe that was the number 62 machine.
Greg Brockway.
Yeah, Greg Brockway that went off, impacted the wall. And we'll see, of course, he gets back underway past the entrance to the pit lane. We'll see how that car handles. We may see him come in for his pit stop a little sooner.
A little damage on that left side there. You can see a little rubbing marks there. Pretty good wrinkle on that left fender, and his left side mirror looks to be detached, kind of dangling. We do have a change for the lead, though, as it looks like Mike Dam has gotten around Mitchell Peak there going into, I believe, Tamburello chicane.
Yes, indeed he has. And as they come out now going into Villeneuve, the second chicane, and start to make their way down towards Tosa, it is, as you mentioned, Mike Dam, the number 93 machine, again sitting second in the championship right now, only 2 points back from Mitchell Peak. Travis Schwenke, Dam's teammate, sitting in third, and then Robert Hartley, Dam's teammate, sitting in fourth. So maybe a little strategy there to maybe try to attack the 56 machine and try to hold him off here as we have Mike Dam running very wide now coming through Piratella.
Yeah, just a little bit, but I think he was able to hang on. And you could do that in Piratella. There's a pretty wide line there before you catch an off-track penalty there at turn 9 Piratella. And you'll see a lot of drivers do that. It really feels like you're going to pick up some kind of a time slowdown like you do at Aquaman Rally, but for some reason, Piratella, it's not nearly as stringent.
All right,
look at
as
the
they
curbing.
go now.
The great shot, by the way, of the curbing.
It kind of reminds me of the big curbing that they throw up in the at the Roval at Charlotte there,
yes.
Tossing those MX-5s all over the place. That was the Variante Alta, the last chicane, as they come now hard, make that little right-hand turn, hard under braking, downhill. Those Miatas, MX-5s, they get very loose there, right on the threshold, and then make it through the final 2 corners, that double apex, and we have another driver off in the wall.
That's Parsino.
And you can see Parsino lost a wheel
Steve
there.
Daniel.
Oof.
They may have come together out there.
And so, Larry, we've had a lot of we've got our leader Mike Dam leading the field to start lap number 3. We've had a number of shorter 30-minute races where we've inverted the field and had no pit stops. Obviously, during those races, we're back to 60-minute racing here, and these drivers, we suspect that they're going to need to take 1 pit stop. The race, based on the lap times that they're running, we'll probably see these drivers make probably turn about 38, 39 laps over the course of the entire race. The fuel fill that they're getting will probably only allow them to make about 36 laps total. So it's going to be there's a big pit window here. All right, we've got a replay coming up, I believe, of that incident that we saw a little bit earlier. Let's take a look at it now.
Alongside Nick Parsino, as they've come out of the Variante Alta and heading downhill, and they just kind of tangle up, kind of get stuck together like Velcro through there. And they both smack that wall really hard.
Yeah, a little bit tight. Parsino on driver's left, and as Daniels and he touched, not a lot either one of them could do. And obviously, they're the concrete very close to the track surface at that point. And we have, I believe, Parsino is still sitting on the pit lane, as is Steve Daniel, and I'm sure it's going to be quite some time before they get out of there.
They called the tow pretty quick, both of them losing wheels. That was a pretty tough, hard impact there. As the speeds through this part of the track, you're talking about 100 miles an hour, 105 miles an hour when they went off track there. So unfortunate for them, that's a pretty big end to their race, the end to their season here in the Classic Sprints. But unfortunately for them, they're out of it. Maybe they can just go back and sit and watch the rest, because I think it's going to be a pretty good fight up near the front as well as the middle of the pack, as the battle for the lead now looks like it's got still about 6 cars, but Mike Dam is starting to open up a gap.
Yeah, he is, as they come out and complete lap number 3, heading into lap number 4. Mike Dam now with a little bit less than 2 seconds on the clock. We do have, as you can see here, a penalty for the number 96 machine. Get a drive-through penalty. That was Steve Daniel, and I think that is.
I've seen his car. It's going to be a walk-through penalty, because I don't think his car's driving anywhere anytime soon. There they both are right now. So it looks like the stewards have assigned blame in that incident to Steve Daniel. And if he gets that car back underway, he's going to have a stop-and-go penalty as we go back to this battle for the lead right now. And another change, as Travis Schwenke now has taken the number 16 Orion Racing entry and moved it up into second. That has dropped Mitchell Peak, our points leader, back in even further back into that mass of Orion Racing entries there. This is kind of that worst nightmare here for the interview we had at the top was Mitchell Peak. He comes in with about a 4-point lead, which means if it's just him, if he wins, he wins. If he's in second, I think he still wins the championship, because Mike Dam needs 4, but he can only get a delta of 3 in this race. But finishing third, I think, gives enough points potentially to Mike Dam, depending on the number of drops and things, to overtake him. So this is kind of turning into a worst case scenario. They're having now surrounded by Dam and his teammate Peak, and Rob Hartley just right behind them, and another teammate to the Orion group there.
Well, and remember, Larry, and we all know, everybody who's watching this race knows that I cannot do simple math in my head. Of course, Mitchell Peak was going to pick up a point for being the pole sitter. And both he and Mike Dam are going to pick up an extra point for leading the race as well. And of course, it is possible to pick up a bonus point if you stay under 6 incidents. Again, if those drivers at the front there, they have every incentive in the world to stay clean.
You really want to get complicated with your math. We're already doing drops in the season. So certain rounds of certain performances, if they only take so many, that gets into all kinds of crazy math. You got to carry the one. We'll have to wait and see at the end.
Square root of 6.5.
We'll let Kevin Ford and the guys tell us when it's all over who actually ends up winning
exactly.
This thing.
Well, probably making it a little bit easier now. Mitchell Peak down the front straight, gets back around Travis Schwenke. So move the 56 Esport Racer machine now up into second. Move Schwenke back into third, right ahead of his Orion Racing teammate Robert Hartley. They are working nose to tail, and you can bet they're going to work together in order to move back up to Peak and try to drop him back in the order one more time. But all the while, Mike Dam, our leader, you can see he has not given up that about 4.5, 5 car length advantage that he has on the rest of the front of the field. But it is still a 6, am I counting correct? 7 car battle for the lead right now here in the Classic Sprint Series as we're working lap 5.
It's 6, but I'll forgive you. You said he can't do regular, good, easy math. Dean Dibdahl at the trailing end of this right now. We're on board with Chris Thorman, who's got a good look at the back of Robert Hartley's MX-5 at number 3. And then you can see in the tail of that shot, the number 19, that is Dean Dibdahl. He is, in fact, an open class racer. As you mentioned at the top of the show, he hasn't been around for every round. He's been doing homework or whatever you do when you're in school and you can't get on your sim. But he's at the back of this train. Maybe he's been practicing because he is definitely running with the big boys, so to speak, and right now got a pretty good lead here on his nearest competitor in the class is Brennan Horn, who's about 3 steps back and probably about 6 seconds back, more critically.
Had a little bit of a change of position just back behind Brennan Horn there as Greg Mack, the number 2 machine, gets around Jordy Fike. So now move Greg Mack up into 7th position overall, 6th in the pro class, and move Fike back 1 more position in the pro class and overall.
Yeah, these teammates running here, of course, the front 2 are in the pro class category, and then Brennan Horn, the 3rd of the 3 in the open class. But Brennan has just been strong enough this year that he's been running with pro drivers all year long. At some point, I'm sure even his teammates will say, hey, time to put on the black mirrors, buddy. It's coming soon, because he's just been showing some great speed all year.
Yeah, and you can see a little bit back from there, actually quite a bit back from there, is Edgar Sanchinelli in the 57 Frito Sport machine. He's currently running 3rd in the open category in that yellow 57. As we jump back up to the battle for the lead, and our top 2 drivers starting to separate themselves out just a little bit from 3rd through 6th.
Peak is trying to not lose the draft, and around here these medium straightaways are great for drafting and staying close because they're just long enough to catch a little draft. As long as you can hit your next mark in the next corner, you can stick with them. And I think that's right now what Mitchell Peak is trying to do. Same for Schwenke. He's trying to maintain. Look at those gaps, 5.5 tenths Dam to Peak, but another 9 tenths to Schwenke. So the better the draft is for Peak, the worse it is for Schwenke, as he's going to get pulled a little bit if he doesn't hit a couple of these marks tightly, because he's, maybe if anything, Schwenke might be able to get a push from Hartley, like you're seeing right here with Fike trying to pushing along Greg Mack. This run coming to Aqua Minerale.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
a little bit of ground there, popping over the curbing.
They're going to give him a little bit of a kiss on the bumper. He might. I think he did. MX-5s, they're meant for drafting. Or at least, if you're the manufacturer of front and rear fascias of MX-5s, you like to do all the bumping.
I was just going to say, if you've got an aftermarket parts business there making OEM equivalent bumper caps, you're in good shape.
Trust me, I was afraid of that. At the race we attended last week, I was afraid that my MX-5 in the parking lot was gonna come back, and my front and rear fascias are gonna be taken from me. But luckily, it survived the weekend. Oh, we got another pass. Let's jump back for the lead as Mitchell Peak has made up ground enough to make a pass. Is it gonna stick?
All right, and as they come into the second chicane, coming into Villeneuve. Now we do have a new leader. Mitchell Peak has gotten back around Mike Dam. You know, we had taken a look at those splits from the last couple of laps, and Peak had knocked down what was at one point a little bit over a 2-second advantage, and you know, he closed down last time by to about 7/10. And that was enough. He got the pole down some of these long straights, and he's now worked his way around. So move Mike Dam now back in the second. He's got his teammates Schwenke and Hartley right behind him. And then we've got Chris Thorman and our leader in the open category, the number 19 of Dean Dibdahl.
And Peak took a great opportunity there, and he just really nailed those last 2 laps, able to make up the ground on Mike Dam to put him in a position to pull that move off going in through turn 1 and then all the way down to the chicane. And but luckily then for Mike Damas, he still has his teammates behind him.
Larry, we lost the car in that pack right there. It looks like, I believe that was Chris
Thorman.
Thorman, yeah. I was just going to say, I think that was Thorman that went off.
I wonder if
he had a pretty good advantage over Mac, and he has now recovered.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Thorman perhaps had one of those Aqua Minerale off tracks where you pick up about a 2-second slowdown. I'm wondering if he had to suffer.
I was looking at as they were coming through the corner there, and he was pointed at the wall.
Oh.
So I don't know if it was just a slowdown afterwards.
Maybe he was looking for Miata land and wanted to go and visit the Miata, the world's largest Miata collection.
All right, let's take a look at the replay here, Larry, and maybe it was as bad as I thought it was, and you know, maybe it wasn't.
Well, that's a big
you can see there he had a pretty lurid tank slapper there. Yeah, missed the wall, got the thing back under control, and continues on. Did not only gave up the 1 position to Dean Dibdahl, but obviously out of that lead pack now.
Dibdahl having to probably lift because he was seeing, you know, Thorman, maybe filling his diapers there in front of him. Dibdahl had to check up a little bit, and now he finds himself a 1.5 seconds behind Hartley. And for Dibdahl, that means he has no draft to pull him along. He's got to catch this thing on skill alone if he wants to be there at the front of the pack. Oh, and that is huge.
Look at this is going to be huge, as you know, we have a start zone for the start of every race, and you are supposed to hold position through the start zone. The pole sitter can start the acceleration when he wants, but you're not supposed to be changing lanes until you get the start finish. And we had the number 93 Orion Racing entry of Mike Dam. He has been assessed a penalty, and this is going to hurt Larry his championship chances tremendously.
That is a huge penalty. And I'm almost wondering if he just didn't leave Lewis Hamilton enough room and he's being penalized for it. That's a joke. But in this case, no, that is unfortunate for him. Come on, even a little bit of a laugh. That is a huge penalty for him.
My throat hurts too much to laugh, Larry.
But running up here in the middle of this in a championship fight, in a points battle, now he's going to have to go serve a penalty. And for him, that's going to probably drop him back about 25. This pit lane here at Imola is huge.
It's
basically
very, very
from
long.
the exit of the Ravazza all the way down almost into turn 2 before you come back on. So even a drive-through penalty could cost him 25, maybe 30 seconds. So,
you know, and that could also, depending on when he pulls off, we'll see if he goes in this time or not, and he's going to go at least one more lap. You know, I think that he'd want, as both Schwenke and Hartley had dropped off of his rear just a little bit, I think that he'd want to bring both Schwenke and Hartley up and, you know, to act as a bit of a bridge so that when he drops into the pit lane, the 56 machine of Peak is still going to, you know, have to worry about some cars back behind him.
Well, maybe what he's going to try and do is take a couple of opportunities to stick himself side by side, maybe just slow Mitchell down that way.
Yeah.
Because he's certainly close enough to maybe make a dive bomb move, perhaps even going into the hairpin coming up at 7. Or maybe kind of dive into him in Aqua Minerale or somewhere before he does have to come in and serve that penalty.
Yeah, because, I mean, it does no good for him to pull a Senna right now. take
no,
Peak
I'll take them
out.
both out. That won't
Yeah.
help them. Will not help
No.
his cause. Probably incur more penalty points if I had to guess. But he's certainly close enough to make a move, and it does look like Travis Schwenke has gotten right up on his tail. And I would almost wonder if he's smart how to pull aside, let Schwenke use the draft to catch up to Peak, and then very neatly just pull himself out of line. Might be the best chance to ensure that Mitchell has good company for the remainder of this race.
Exactly. And we'll see here, and as we talked about a few moments ago, you can see Dean Dibdahl, without the benefit of a draft, he continues to slide off of the pace of our front-running cars. He's now almost 4 seconds back as Brennan Horn is getting pulled along by Greg Mack. Separation now between those drivers, and of course we still have Chris Thorman sitting up there ahead of him, but about a little over 3 seconds, I think. Actually, well, from Thorman to Mack is about 3 seconds, and a couple more, and about another 5 up to Dibdahl. So still quite a bit.
That onboard shot there, by the way, of Horan going up and over those curbs. You can see how much curbing that these things are using. They are launching themselves like a rallycross up and over those things, just jumping those. But it's the only fast way in these cars to get through that Variante Alta. It's just, you have to use them all. And I also noticed these two have got a bit of a gap now behind them to Jordy Fike, as it now looks like Mike Dam's going to go ahead and serve that penalty. Keep an eye on how much time he loses. Remember, he was right there behind Mitchell Peak when he came in for this. Oh, I'm telling you, this pit lane.
This pit lane,
It challenges Road America in its overall length. This place is just forever. Maybe Sonoma, but the only other one that's longer. He's still serving it. He's still going on that red limiter.
And now he hits the line and can start to accelerate and make his way out. Of course, you also have to be very careful as cars come through that first turn, because they'll exit there right as you're coming off of the pit lane. So that now is going to drop Mike Dam all the way back to 11th position overall, 8th in the category.
28 seconds he lost on that, and that's unfortunate. That's a huge penalty. So he's not going to work his way back up. I'm not saying he can't do it, but it's going to be a tough road at this point.
And here we go as we drop back over to Greg Mack, Brennan Horn, and Jordy Fike again.
Fike was about 2 seconds behind just a lap or so ago, so I'm thinking that perhaps Greg Mack and Brennan Horn maybe have had a little bit of a slip of their pace on that last lap, given a chance for Fike to catch back up. Or maybe they just said, hey, buddies, let's go for a drive, all of us, and let's all drive over to Miata Land. I got to stop saying that.
Yes, you do.
Trust me, they're not paying me to say this. I just find it fascinating. There's a Miata ranch in Italy. Anyway, what a good fight here between these guys, and I'm sure at this point they don't really care who teammates are. Right. This is just a battle for position.
Whoa!
Yeah, look how much they take. God. It's a ramp.
as Horn
takes
the curb, takes the curb first with the front and then the rear, and somehow manages to position the front wheels so that car continues on its way and doesn't loop around. That was just absolutely amazing to watch.
Yeah, I think if you're Brennan Horn, you would like the pace to pick up a little bit so you have a shot to catch Dean Dibdahl, because that's his race, right? That's the race he's got. Oh, Robert Hartley coming in early for his stop. Perhaps I'm wondering if he's thinking drop back and maybe find a teammate or something like that. Maybe he can find Mike Dam with a pit stop, although Dam should go blowing on by.
Yeah, I was going to say, for the amount of time it would take to fill the tank, Dam is probably going to roll by.
All that does is just now leave Travis Schwenke on that island. Now, he can also win this championship. He probably needs a little bit of help, but it's not out of the question. Again, once you get into drops and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Again, Schwenke sitting third in the championship with 183 points. So, what's that, 17 points off the lead currently?
I'm looking down at the points. Are there any events where he just had a really bad score?
And Larry, what's this? Oh, this is Dam now pulling into his pit stop, and he's going to take left side tires.
Taking
here,
lefts
of course,
implies that he's going to take all four. Why would you only take lefts at a track like this?
Yeah, there you go. Because typically, when you take a look at running counterclockwise, the most of the wear would likely be on the right-hand tires.
So the only thought I have is when he came through, because at the pre-race, whenever you've got the sim, my usual pattern is when I'm on the grid, I go through my menus, I deselect whatever tire strategy I have or whatever fuel strategy I want to make. I set it then, to then see the green flag of the race. So when you actually come in, you don't really have to think about selecting then. Well, he served a penalty. So he's already come through pit lane.
And
It's
he may
possible
not have reset things.
have reset things for those tires. And since it pulled up the left side first, it just went on. He may have cost himself another 8 or 10 seconds by taking left side tires.
Yeah, now Mike Dam, he does return to the track surface. He now falls back to 15th overall. That is 9th in category. But Mitchell Peak in the 56 machine, he is now 14 cars ahead.
Again, I'm looking at point stand to see what kind of drops. Mitchell Peak has already dropped his round 1 or round 2. If you remember those couple of rounds, he had some really bad starts in those races. At Interlagos and in Canada, Gilles Villeneuve. He's dropped those now from the point. So he's sitting on some pretty solid finishes, 1s, 2s, and 3s for him across the board. Looking at Travis Schwenke currently in second place in the race, 3rd in the points. He has dropped his DNS round 1. Other than that, he's got 4ths and 2nds across the board. So he'd be replacing, if he could win this race, he'd be replacing a 4th place with a win, maybe picking up 6 points or so. I don't know if he can quite catch Mitchell Peak.
No,
but again,
I don't
what
know.
do I know? All depends on how many drops you're going to end up with.
All right, and we saw Chris Thorman go to the pits from, I guess at the time he was running 4th overall, and he is now back on his way out. We'll track his time in the pit lane. He was in the stall for 20.85 seconds, and Larry, when you talk about how long that pit lane is, it was another 40 seconds of transit time on the pit lane. As we go back to now, we're looking at Jordy Fike, who's gotten around both Greg Mack and Brennan Horn. So move Fike now up into with the pits 4th overall, and you can see it looks like Brennan Horn.
So braking there, you're constantly. I know these things have ABS, but the car just doesn't want to slow down.
You're right, and the rear end gets unloaded quite a bit.
Yes, because as you turn in, you're basically almost like an off-camber corner.
Yeah.
As you turn in for it, you've got to take it so slow, coming down from 120 miles an hour, whatever your top speed is there. Very, very difficult corner in a car like this to get it woed down and to get a good run between the two robots, because they really are 2 separate corners.
Yeah. I look at it somewhat like, think of it as like turn 5 at Road America. The difference is the car, turn 5 kind of bends in a little bit to the left as you start to roll down the hill there, but you have a much more drastic corner coming into there just as you're rolling down the hill. And the car here at Imola, and the car really loads up that right rear. And, it really unsettles the car, perhaps more so than at Road America.
I would say this corner here also more difficult. I think the hill is still sloping more when you get to that corner, whereas at Road America, it almost flattens out a little bit when you're coming down for the brake markers on your right. Still got a little bit of downward slope, but I think this one here, a lot steeper going in. Similar speeds for these kind of cars coming into both, but this place so treacherous to get the speed off of the car going into that corner.
All right, as they come out of Tosa and start to make their way up the hill there. And a good run here, but again, fairly hard braking going into Piratella, but still, there we go, fast corner. Actually, we're not at Piratella there. That's over at Variante Alta.
They are. That high chicane, or whatever the actual translation is. Yeah, they just clobber those curbs. And again, now it's Fike and Brennan Horn that have built a little bit of gap on Greg Mack, where before it was Horn with Mack building a lead up on Jordy Fike. As the two kind of continue to move things around, here's a good shot as we come back at Mike Dam now working his way through traffic, getting around Jeff Jacobs there now for 13th place. Just watch him.
He's got a long way to go to get up to Thorman.
Speaking of our leaders, Travis Schwenke still putting it to Mitchell Peak.
Yeah, managed to close things down, and now he's going to take a look to the inside.
Yes, he is. He's going to keep trying.
Yeah, he's not going to make Peak's job easy for him.
Yeah, I wonder if Travis was being a little bit conservative in the first part of this race, just kind of feeling the race out. And in a way, kind of like what Mitchell had said too, right? It's a long race. He said he was going to kind of feel it and see how it goes. He wouldn't really commit to what his strategies were at one point or another in the race. I wonder if Travis Schwenke sort of felt that way. And now maybe for him, the car's feeling good, middle part of the race, maybe try a few moves.
Yeah, well, I was going to say maybe taking it a little bit easier, probably giving a little deference to his teammate who was there. Certainly didn't want to take I'm sure wasn't going into the race thinking, well, I'll take the championship away or a chance to win the championship away from my teammate. But now that Dam is effectively out of it, no reason not to push.
For sure. Yeah, and you may as well. Why sit in line just for another 30 minutes and be bored? You may as well put on a good show for people like us to call and see if you can stick your nose in around and make it exciting.
It looks like a game of leapfrog as they go over those curbs.
And it does. I mean, man, if I did that to my poor car, it would need a whole new all the under tray piece have to be replaced after every couple laps. Yeah, pretty equal lines through there, very similar. Frankie, if nothing else, he's collecting data on the tendencies of Mitchell Peak out in front of him.
And gets a good run coming out of the final corners past the start-finish line, and he's going to try and make a move going down into the first chicane, Larry, it looks like.
Yep, and you saw a moment ago the gaps there all the way back to Dean Dibdall, and you can see how these two are just pulling away a couple of tenths a lap from Dibdall, who, remember, when this was still a 6-car train, Dean was right there at the tail of it, seemed happily to be hanging along. But now that it's down to just these 2 cars and Dean doesn't have that same pull, he's lost his toe, as you can see him way there in the background. Not the first car in the background, but the second car that was just coming out of the Tamburello chicane when these guys are turning into Villeneuve.
All right, as they come into that hairpin in the Tosa and start to make the run up the hill. I'm wondering here, Larry, as we have, as we're about just now halfway through this race, whether or not you would perhaps, if you were Mitchell Peak, maybe lay back a little bit. And I'm not saying gift the win to the 16 machine, but as far as damage limitation, or trying to avoid any kind of damage. Although I think it's kind of hard to keep the keep your head down for 30 minutes when you're not attacking somebody.
Yeah.
But Larry, as this battle's going on still with the 2 teammates with Jordy Fike and Brendan Horn, it is that time that we thank some of our great sponsors here. Yeah, absolutely.
Sponsor time.
It certainly is. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here in just a few moments. But before we go, again, if you like what you see here tonight, please go ahead and click on that thumbs up button. Go ahead and subscribe to Apex Racing TV and click on the notification bell. You can find out about all the great racing that we have available for you here on Apex Racing TV, seemingly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I know it's not that frequent, but pretty close as our leader now comes into the pit lane for his pit stop. We're going to take that break. You are watching the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series. Round 9, the finale from Imola. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
All right, and we are back here at Imola, the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. And Larry, we've had, of course, our overall leader go into the pits for his pit stop, but we've been watching that battle all race long with Greg Mack, Jordy Fike, Brendan Horn, and they all decided to come down the pit lane nose to tail at the same time.
Yes, and they all took right side tires. Now it's a matter of who takes on the least amount of fuel, who's going to get out of here first. This is actually the most exciting pit stops I've watched.
Ooh,
definitely Jordy Fike getting a good run, and Brendan Horn getting a good run. Greg Mack still sitting there.
And he just now gets underway, but it looks like about 3 to 3.5 seconds or so difference. Greg Mack maybe taking a little bit more fuel on as we jump back. Looks like the number 78 machine coming in for his pit stop. As we go back now to Mike Dam, who's trying to work his way back up through the order. Of course, Mike Dam had that drive-through penalty earlier for a lane infraction on the start. And as he now is, cars are starting to cycle through. He's sitting back 7th in the pro category, but his nemesis Mitchell Peak, currently our leader in the season-long point standings, he has now worked his way back up into 4th overall and 3rd in the pro category as more drivers are starting to cycle through for their pit stops.
This is interesting. When we went the first one to dive into the pits obviously was the penalty being served by Mike Dam. The first of the leaders to do it was Robert Hartley. And if you just notice right there, Robert Hartley is now ahead of Mitchell Peak. Don't forget, although Robert Hartley may not end up with enough events to qualify to be able to take the championship here, let me just run you through Robert Hartley's performance this year. First place in Interlagos, first place at Joe Villeneuve, a couple of DNSs, first place at Donington, a second place at Donington, another DNS. That's a whole lot of first places for him. And now you can see he's strategically gotten himself right up there at Mitchell Peak. This really seems to be, he is definitely one of the strongest competitors. Probably not going to end up with enough points to win a championship, but might be playing spoiler right now to be able to try for Mitchell Peak to try and win the finale on the way to a championship. I think Robert Hartley's going to have something to say about that.
Yeah, quite possibly. Hartley currently sitting 7th in the points at 143 points. You know, so even if he were to take home that entire haul of 35 points, that would be what, 180?
Yeah.
So he'd still be short of the championship, or give or take 180.
Yeah, even with bonus points, if he gets the full 39 that I've seen, he would be shy of the 196 that Mike Dam already has, or certainly the 200 that Mitchell Peak has. But he has been so dominant. We kind of forget, because he had so many DNSs, we forgot exactly how dominant he has been in both close races as well as not so close races. A couple of the ones he was kind of last lap, heroics to try and win. But here he is. We didn't think when he came into the pits he was really much of a factor. He was hanging behind Travis Wenke and Mike Dam, just sitting back there. He comes into the pits, comes out, finds himself in the virtual lead here, kind of waiting, obviously, for the pit stops of Diddahl. But look in front of them now, as it looks like Travis Wenke has done a fantastic job. That Orion team, I'm telling you, they've got some great pit stops tonight.
Yeah, let's take a look there. As Schwenke now, having gone through and taken his pit stop, is, as when Dean Dibdahl cycles through and takes his pit stop, Dean Dibdahl, our open class leader right now, is your overall leader. He should pick up an extra point tonight for leading a lap, but when he rolls through into the pit lane for his pit stop, that will elevate Travis Schwenke to the lead. And so right now, Mitchell Peak, he's got the 2 Orion Racing entries just ahead of him. I don't think they're going to be able to hold Peak off long enough for Mike Dam to work his way back.
They're going to try. They're going to try to make an Orion Block 8 up there.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can slow the race down enough to give Mike Dam a chance to catch up, as Mike's now currently about, we'll say about 45 seconds behind this battle.
Well, if they manage to drive 3 or 4 laps side by side.
And we have seen crazier things.
Yes, we have.
With full course yellows and things in the Ricmotech series. I don't want to say this race is over by a long shot.
As we took a quick look there at the number 93 machine, as he doesn't have any traffic ahead of him. He's got clear running there, but again, it's a very large margin right now for him to get back up to the front.
And he's
front
turning
3.
204 lap times, 204.46 last time by, but Hartley at 204.7, Mitchell Beek 204.9. Yeah, they're all running 204s out in front of him anyway. So, and of course, Schwenke just came out of the pits right into the front of this this group here. Again, they're just waiting on Dean Dibdahl to take his stop. But yeah, I think Mike Dam is going to have to run some laser laps around this place. He's going to catch them strictly on track pace. Oh, I love the Villeneuve chicane. Chuck it in. It's so rewarding when you do it right. It really sucks when you get it wrong. It's just gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, if you get it right, when the car hooks up, you're almost pointed straight over, straight over towards Tosa. It's really
you turn
really
in early though. Oh, it's brutal if you turn in early and you get pushed wide. And the second half of it, you end up in the gravel trap on driver's left. Get it right though. Very rewarding. Gives you an easy setup down there for the hairpin. And again, I love this corner here, turn 9. Just a beautiful gliding across the crest of the hill as you come uphill to it, and then back down to the Aqua Minerale here at the bottom for the little stream there.
All right, as we jump a little bit further back in the field here, we're looking at Chris Thorman, who had that earlier little, I don't even know if you want to call it an off, just had that little bobble on, I believe it was lap number 4. Took his pit stop very, very early, and he's got a great battle going on right now with Mike Taylor, who has moved up to second in the in the class, in the open class, but has not taken a pit stop as of yet.
The Dibdahl in the random Dibdahl picture of the week there on his profile. This time just a helmet as opposed to a baby picture or something else that I have a feeling somebody else moderates his account and puts the pictures up each week. This one is pretty tame, just a helmet. But that should then hand the lead back over to our threesome out there.
And we've just gotten word from the league administrators that they plan on having the points for the series updated within 2 minutes of the checkered flag.
So, I've got my stopwatch. I am ready.
You're ready.
So Kevin Ford, when you're listening, you better be fast with the math, buddy.
That's right. Faster than how long it takes to go to transit down the pit lane at Imola. We'll have we'll know who is our winner in both the open and pro categories as Travis Schwenke continues to lead his Orion Racing teammate Robert Hartley with Mitchell Peak, our pole sitter, the number 56 Esport Racing machine here. We're now on lap 20 again. We said that this race probably will go somewhere around 38, 39 laps. And it's looking to be that way as our drivers are now on lap 20. And
I'm sure we're going to get to 39 laps, to tell you the truth. Only at 40-minute mark already.
Yeah.
Yeah, might be looking more like about 30 laps.
30. Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah. See, I can't do base 10 numbers. I have problems with. Stick me with base 60 stuff, and I'm a mess.
But a couple things to note here is Dibdahl took his pit, no longer leading the race. He is, however, just about a second or half a second right in front of, and there you can see the number 45, Brennan Horn. That is the battle for class there at open class.
Yeah.
Also interesting, they came out behind Chris Thorman.
And amazing that Horn now was able to make up so much ground on Dean Dibdahl. Let's take a quick look here. Pit stop times. And remember, Dibdahl came in much later than Horn. A 23, almost 24-second pit stop time versus 19 seconds. So almost 4 seconds right there.
Yep, definitely the slowest one of the bunch there was Dean. He lost so much track time and put himself in this position. He could have resumed the lead probably by a good 2 seconds plus if he would have had a clean stop. But instead, he's got himself right in the clutches of Brennan Horn right here. And Brennan's going to take this opportunity to try and stick with him. Another great rewarding corner there, the second half of Ravazza. You see Dean go a little bit wide there. And this being by far the longest straightaway on this track, probably other than the Monza front straight, the longest straightaway in Italy, I think. But he's going to get a good run there. But yeah, I think for Brennan, it's a good opportunity to try and put a stamp on this season if he can win this. And for Dean Dibdahl, he wants to do the exact opposite. He wants to play spoiler here on
you can see how defensive Dibdahl is going down into the first chicane there, sticking the car all the way to the inside. Now, Larry, remember, if we go all the way back to week 1 at Interlagos, these two drivers actually got together going through the Senna S's.
Right.
And I think both of them managed to recover, but they have had some very, very tight and tough battles throughout the season here. You know, again, with Dibdall missing a number of rounds, you know, you think what a fight this could have been between these two. I think very evenly matched racers.
Yeah, Dibdall won the last round at Olton Park here in this class, and yeah, get himself a good solid finish here. He could find himself up in the top 3 of the season, but as you said, maybe not enough events to really go too far. But Dean, if he could put together a full season, certainly a contender here in the open class. But as we know, he's got school, but he's got other racing activities in his life, as a lot of people do, and gives us as much entertaining time watching him go around these tracks as he can certainly offer. We appreciate that he's able to join us. And we appreciate that whoever sets his profile pics each week has a bit of sense of humor too.
Yes. I think that might be Dad Rich.
There you go. There's a good shot of it. Just a helmet this week. That is his real. He is an analog racer.
Yes.
You know, a lot of us sim guys, we don't do a whole lot in the real world, but Dean, in fact, does. At the very young age of whatever it is. Too young. Did we say he was 15 yet?
Yeah, he is now. I actually know. I think he's now 14.
14. He's got more racing real experience than I do, and a few years older than he is, of course. I'm in my 20s. I promise.
Well, of course, at the race that Larry and I were at just this past weekend at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we had a Formula Continental driver, or pardon me, a Formula X driver. Who is all of 14 years old, Austin Hill, and he put on a heck of a show. Took home a bronze medal.
Yeah, I'm telling you, these kids these days, they're super fast, and Dibdall, of course, showing us exactly an example of that. That a lot of times at home in the sim, maybe a few days in go-karts will give you some pretty good skill at a young age. Taking a look at the man who came into the round here in second, thought he had a shot to win the championship. A little penalty assigned to him for a misstep on his start has got him at the back of the pack. And Mike Dam, he's currently back there at 8th spot. But this battle here, we're talking about Dibdall there, the number 19 sandwiched. We got representatives from all the teams, of course. The Esports, the D2D, and the Dibdall Racing here. All 3 of them going nose to tail up into turn 9.
Yeah, and of course, early on in this race, Dibdall was right at the tail end of that lead pack of 6 cars that we had. Running 5th at the time was Chris Thorman in the number 60 D2D iRacing entry, and he is maybe bottling up both Dibdall and Horn at the moment here, but neither one seems to be able to find a way by. I'm wondering, and did Horn just get an off track maybe? Because it looked like he fell off just a little bit there for a moment.
I'm pretty sure he had one on the opening lap, but I think at this time he's okay. I think he may have just stumbled a little bit coming up the hill out of the Aqua Minerale.
Maybe missed a gear or something.
But yeah, it surprised me. I'm telling you, this place it's one of those, you think you're fine, you just cross this extra inch coming out of Aqua Minerale, and so you didn't even realize you were close to one, actually find yourself with a slowdown penalty. But you have to use every ounce of the curves here. You want to be just tickling the grass, or like there, you can see Thorman tickling the sand to be able to get a fast lap around this place. You got to maximize those radiuses. Radius.
All right, looks like now coming down the front straight here, maybe Dean Dibdall going to make the move on the number 60 car, and the question is Horn close enough to follow along? It doesn't look like he is. Again, a couple car lengths back, but now as they come under braking, going into the first chicane here at Tamburello, he gets by, move Dean Dibdall now up into 4th overall, and he still leads your open category.
He is, but I'm telling you, this fight is going to go right up to the 60th minute. I don't know if I want to be putting any money on either one of these young men. Might be losing my bet quickly, because either one of them could win this thing. Maybe, in this little battle here, it could still be Chris Thorman, as he's in between them right now. He's gonna be the wild card here, and right now he's holding off Horn behind him.
Yeah, for basically, it looks like Thorman is an equal opportunity defender here, not giving any deference or preference to whether it be Dean Dibdall or Brennan Horn.
Yeah, I don't think he cares at all. He just wants to race. He might even start do a little rubbing his race in here between these guys. on board with Chris now going into the Variante Alta. Just clobber the curve. Look at the ground he gains on Dibdal going into that so much later on the brakes.
And so Dibdal now has opened up a little bit of a gap as they come down the hill towards Ravazza, and Thorman closes down just a little bit under braking, but this is probably, you know, I'm sure, of course, Horn is going to be battling for the win here in the open category, but you know, this is probably just the situation now with only about 10 minutes remaining in this race that he probably did not want to find himself in, especially after making up all that ground under the pit stops.
Yeah, Horn definitely needs to get past Thorman. This might be right now his opportunity. He's not going to take it yet. You know, a little bit more patience. I don't know if I want to be patient. I want to get up there and get around that young kid, Dibdal. Make your move. Don't let the kid take away your glory and try to win the finale of the season.
Well, I was going to say, since at this point, and let's take a look who's sitting second, or probably who's sitting third. Right now, Sancinelli is sitting third in the race here. He's sitting fourth overall in points. He's got a total of, or pardon me, he's not sitting fourth in the points. Sancinelli is third in the points with 142 points. You know, so at this point, you know, even if Horn were to get a DNF, you know, Sancinelli couldn't win the championship. You know, I'm wondering if you're Brennan Horn, do you go for broke? And you know, if you crash out, is it the worst thing in the world? As long as you don't take out Dean Dibdal, you know.
Right.
You know.
Don't incur the penalty, but
right. Yeah.
Try to make the move, even if the move is kind of a 50-50 kind of move. At this point, you know, knowing the points, he just might, or he might be a little classier than I would be. He might actually try to make a move that counts and not try to wreck himself or anybody else around him. But he's got right now 2 moves to make is the issue. And he's only got 10 minutes to do it at a little over 2 minutes a lap. He's got about 5 laps to get this done as Mike Dam is getting it done, getting around the number 9 of Jordy Fike. Remember, Jordy used to be part of that battle with Thorman and Horan a little while ago before all the pit stops.
Yeah, so this is now, this was the battle for 5th as Mike Dam now moves up to 5th, and it doesn't look like Jordy Fike is ready to
Whoa,
does he get him? And Jordy Fike goes over the grass at Ravazza, gets into the back of the number 93 machine.
I just heard the apology on the driver chat there. I think what happened there is Fike just got on the brakes late, and rather than driving to the outside, he kind of thought, well, maybe I'll just kind of dive over the middle and
maybe go right by him.
Yeah, that's a tough way. I would guess the stewards are going to probably have a little something to say about this one, but I think in this case for both drivers, their evenings could be done. Certainly for Mike, he's gone right to the pits.
Yeah, you can see now the number 93 machine coming into the pits. So I think we can all consider Mike Dam's day done here as Brendan Horn still trying to hold off the number 60 machine, or probably Brendan Horn trying to get around the 60 machine. Dean Dibdal having to get very defensive. He wants more than anything, I think, at this point to be able to keep that 60 machine right behind him. You know, he certainly doesn't want to have Brendan Horn on his 6 going through there. So, I mean, you can see there's, you know, every reason in the world for Dibdal to stay defensive at this point.
Yeah, he's going to go full Jeff Jacobs on him and try to hold Thorman behind him. Doesn't want to let Horn have a shot. He wants to make sure that if Horn's going to have any chance, he's going to make sure he's got to make 2 passes late in the race, not for 1. And yes, I did refer to Jeff Jacobs as a wide driver.
Yes.
We've said it before, not the first time.
All right, so at this point, Larry, looking at the points, you know, if you know, I'm not saying that Mitchell Peak should just let Robert Hartley go on by and just kind of settle in for the last couple of minutes, but you know, if I think we're at that point now where if anything were to happen to the 56 machine, and I don't want to break out the announcer's curse right now, Mitchell Peak should have wrapped things up based on
just go full Jinx. Go ahead and go ahead and tell him he's gonna.
Look, I don't know. Usually, it's when I say nothing bad is going to happen when they wreck out. So, and look at this, Larry. as Brennan Horn has now gotten around Dean Dibdahl.
There's someone missing from this battle. There he is behind them.
Well, there is the 60 machine of Thorman, but he is now about 10 car lengths, almost 15 car lengths back. So it is battle on here now in the open category, at least for round 9, the finale.
Yes, it is. So be curious to see if we can catch exactly what happened there. Now you can see Horn trying to make the move on Dibdahl coming out of the Temporella chicane. Dibdahl just kind of keeping his ground there. It looks like he's blocking. Trust me, he's just got the car wiggling across the curbs of the exit, trying to set up for the Villeneuve chicane. Dive in deep for both drivers. Nice good run out of there for Horn.
Yeah,
as we've talked about. Yeah, not
I was
a lot
going to
of
say, Larry,
places.
if there was any any time to breathe, if we could see the replay of exactly what happened, to see things switch up. But I don't think. Well, tell you what, we're gonna breathe.
Let's cue this up.
Here we go. Let's take a look and see exactly what happened here a few moments ago. You saw Dean Dibdahl and Thorman gets into the back of Dibdahl, same spot where we had the incident with Mike
just like
Dam.
Mike.
Yeah. Same place going into Ravazza, and that allowed, at least temporarily, for the 45 machine to get by. And look at that. Dibdahl had to go through a lot of gravel to get back out on track and made up a lot of time.
That's actually the most impressive thing to me, is that Dibdahl did not lose that much ground
he was
in that
deep
exchange.
in the trap.
Yeah, just sort of put his foot in it and said, well, I'm going to John Deere my way back out there and see what happens.
All right, let's jump back up to the battle for the lead as we've got.
We're in Italy. Maybe he thought he was driving a Lamborghini. They originally made tractors. So.
Tractors. Well, I was going to say so did Ferrari, or probably not Ferrari, but so did Porsche.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
we're
true.
in Italy. Come on, use your references.
I know.
Use your references.
It's the whole Axis thing, you know.
Back to the lead, thankfully. Something exciting.
Yeah.
It is Schwenke, Peak. It is Hartley, and it's emerging traffic coming out of the pits.
Yeah, you saw how Peak had to move all the way over. Both Peak and Hartley had to move over to let that car come out of the pits, as we're now under 5 minutes remaining here in the season finale of the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series, and it is nose to tail. Travis Schwenke, Mitchell Peak, Robert Hartley, your top 3.
And Nick Parsono there in the back of the shot. He was the car that was coming out of the pits, but he was involved in that wreck on the very first lap with Steve Daniel, and he looks like he's got his car repaired enough to come out and run a few laps and get the camera shot here with our 3 leaders. He is, though, 5 laps down, so he's not going to be fighting for anything, but maybe just follow these guys' line and see if he can learn up some tricks. This now with only 4 minutes, we'll call it 2 laps to go. It could be 2.5. It could be 2 laps following this. If you're a Peak, you could just hang on and hope for the win. And I think Mike Dam, though, kind of knowing the situation, would love to kind of push Mitchell back just one more spot. But we know that Mike's got the talent to do it. He's made some great late race heroic passes. He would love to get, although he's right now in a good spot for a podium, he would love to get that second step and maybe even try and challenge for the top step. Is there's the penalty being signed to Jordy Fike. Kind of no surprise there.
Not a surprise at all. All right, let's see if we can jump back to that battle that we've got going for the open category win. Hopefully Dennis can bring us back to that, as we've got Dibdahl and Brennan Horn still only about a car length and a half separating them, maybe 2 car lengths here, as they came over out of the Variante Alta, making their way down that hill towards the Ravazza. And Horn, you can see him. He's still pushing, trying to make up ground here.
Yep, he's going to try, but Dibdahl has shown some great raw speed tonight. Remember the first third of this race, Dean was running with the pack, running with the front runners up there, and kind of left Brennan Horn onto his own. And if it wasn't for Dean's terrible pit stop, I really got to blame his dad and his crew for that one. It wasn't Dean's fault. But it wasn't for that pit stop, he would probably be up about 3 seconds on this pack right now. But he's in the clutches, but certainly showing opportunities and showing some pace throughout this race. Now he's got to show a little bit of racecraft and hold the maybe somewhat more experienced Brennan Horn behind him. So we should see 2 laps to go. Probably should get white next time by. Kind of depends where the leaders are, but I'm pretty sure we might see it. Let me close. Inside of the 2-minute mark.
All right, so we're going to jump back over to the lead now, and things have closed down just a little bit. Let's see if we do get the white flag this next time by.
We should. I'm just really curious to see his Hartley. Has he collected enough data to try and make a pass, end up on that second step, or is it just going to be satisfied with third unless opportunity really throws itself out there?
All right, and they're coming at the lead pack. They're coming up on Greg Brockway in the 62 and the 78 of John Casey. Looks like they're having a good little scrap.
Great lines for these three all together, just like synchronized.
Yeah, so as they make their way through the last chicane and start to roll down that hill
towards the see a white flag this time by.
Yeah, absolutely. As they'll be now just at about 1 minute remaining on the clock. So this will be the last lap. They'll get the white flag as they make their way up. Of course, very long straightaway here. Not so straight.
19 quarters to go. Hartley looking like he's going to try and set something up. Peak, I'm sure, is trying to eye up Schwenke to see if he can make a move. Who bats an eye first? Which way? It's a big game of chicken here going into this.
Look at this!
There's contact.
And the leaders take themselves out.
And then they take out the trailing pair as well. The 62 of Brockway just got clobbered in that miss. A little bit of shrapnel on him. So it's Schwenke and Peak both come together. Robert Hartley just glides between them.
Yeah, and you can see there Brockway, who was collateral damage, just parked without a wheel in the gravel trap. That's going to move Robert Hartley now up into the lead. But let's jump back.
That may leave these two fighting for second in the overall for the race.
That's right here, as we've got Dean Dibdahl in the in the number 19 machine, Brennan Horn in the 45. Horn to driver's right, Dibdahl to driver's left as they go side by side.
side by side in Villeneuve. I'm sure that Gilles Villeneuve would be proud to see this kind of racing going on. Side by side in the corner named for him. They're just going to go right at this. Is right now Dibdahl with the advantages. They go by the limping Mitchell Peak.
Now, again, we think that Peak has already wrapped up the championship based on how Mike Dam finished up and the other drivers in the championship points, but he still wants to finish it as we jump back and last couple of corners here as our drivers are starting to make their both Dibdahl and Horn finishing up this last lap.
He's trying to shoehorn his way past Dibdahl, and it's not going to be easy. Look at him constantly poking the nose in left, poking it in right. He's looking for any opportunity that he can to get in here because we know the best place to pass on this whole track is going into the chicane in the Tamburello, which is turn 2. They're all the way on the other side of the track with a half a lap to go. Horn's going to have to shoehorn his way through. He's used that twice. I shouldn't have.
Twice in one lap, Larry.
And now he runs wide. I'm sure he just picked up a 1X in effect. He's back there behind him.
You can see as he's moving back and forth. I think he knows that the race is now over as Dean Dibdahl comes down into the final corners here at Imola. Crossing the stripe first, though, Robert Hartley taking the overall win here in round 9 from Imola. Travis Schwenke, he's going to come home in second after that incident, and then right behind Dean Dibdahl, he is your open class winner tonight at Imola. Brennan Horn's going to finish in second after what was an amazing, Larry, a last lap there for our drivers. Chris Thorman, after his small issue here early to start the race, he's going to finish in third.
Gave up on Peak.
Wow. And I didn't realize that Peak had the wheel down there, but that was a great little helicopter spin he put on coming out of the final
that
corner.
Front that hub has failed him at this point.
Yeah,
he's going to bring that thing home. Looks like in but
all right, Larry. So let's jump back. We're going to take a look at the replay of that incident between Schwenke and Mike.
Peak goes left. Schwenke's there. Yeah. And I'm wondering if Peak was looking for a gap that didn't exist.
Did not exist. He was already in the grass as Schwenke came over driver's left. There really was nowhere to go, and there you can see the collateral damage.
This looks a lot like a Formula One race a year ago at a damp Imola track in that exact same corner where two cars came together. And this is about the same results. Luckily, here in the sim world, there's nothing that's going to get you hurt. But boy, I'll tell you, emotions are definitely feeling it. They're definitely going to be damaged. A few egos after that little bump that took those two guys out. But that is racing.
There you go. All right, so Thorman comes home third in pro. Mack comes home fourth in pro. David Payton comes home sixth in that would be fifth in pro, pardon me. We said Dibdahl and Horan finishing first and second. In open, Mitchell Peak finishing third, then Edgar Sancinelli fourth, Mike Taylor fifth. All right, so what we're going to do now, Larry, we're going to take another quick break. We're going to be back in here in just a few moments to, well, we'll put our interviewing hats on and bring in some of our podium finishers. You just saw the finish of round 9, the finale of season 19 here on the Classic Sprint Series from Imola. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
All right, and we are back here from Imola for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry McLeod. And Larry, we just saw two
Wow.
just absolutely bang out, drag out fights to the checkered flag, both in our pro class and our open class. Certainly didn't turn out the way we expected it. But I think we have a little more clarity in who our season champions are now as well. So let's go run down the finishing order here once again, and we'll start bringing some folks in for the interviews. Taking the overall win tonight and winning the pro category, Robert Hartley in the number 3 Orion Racing Mazda MX-5 with his teammate Travis Schwenke finishing in second. Then, and this was a hell of a battle, Larry, all the way down into the very 2 last corners. Dean Dibdahl in the Dibdahl Racing Machine takes the win in the open category tonight. Brennan Horan will come away with the season championship, but he finishes second tonight. They both finish 3rd and 4th overall. Chris Thorman coming home in 5th, takes the last step on the podium in the pro category. Greg Mack will come home 4th in pro. David Payton 5th in pro. Mitchell Peak, who was leading, well, at the point of the accident was running second, but was our pole sitter tonight. He finishes back behind David Payton with Jeff Jacobs. Edgar Sancinelli will come home with the last step on the podium in the open category. All right, so Larry, we've got a lot of people sitting, waiting to be brought in here. Tell you what, why don't we start with the open category tonight? Yeah. And we'll bring in first, let's bring in Brennan Horn, who's our season champion, and then we'll bring in Dean Dibdahl, who took the win this evening. How's that?
Sure.
All right, so let's bring in now Brennan Horn, driver of the number 45 Esport Racing Machine, our season champion for season 19.
Brennan, let's talk a little bit about this. I was waiting for the official points to get added up, but I'm pretty sure our second place tonight is going to give you that win. So tell me a little bit about this race and this battle that you had with Dean there in those closing laps.
Man, Dean, Dean's going to win the open class next season if he sticks around. He's just so much quicker than me, as Richard points out many times in the YouTube chat. But no, he's just a great driver. I was thinking about just chilling out during this race, but he races so clean that I just wanted to race with him tonight. And yeah, I'm just so happy about this championship too.
Oh, for sure. So did you catch an off track or a slowdown penalty in the first lap to put you back a little bit?
Yeah, on the first lap and halfway through the race and on the final lap of the race. So, yeah, this track's a little bit notorious for that. And I was trying to not do it, but luckily I didn't have too much pressure on me because I could have just stuck around and won the championship.
Yeah, so what does a championship mean to you? I mean, obviously it's a goal for a lot of us whenever any series, any competition we're in is to try and be the best in that category. But what does this mean to you to win this one?
Oh, it means a lot. This is 3 years in the making in this series. And, I've got 2 third place finishes, 1 second place finish, and now finally I have the championship. Everyone in this league just drives so clean, and the level of competition is just so high. So to be on top is a really big deal. It proves something to me and other people in the whole community.
Yeah, watching you all season long, the word dominant starts to come in, in this open category with some of the guys around you that they seeing you fighting it out with the pro class guys almost every single week. And I think you're right about you got your hands full next season with this young Dean Dibdahl there with you. But this season is all yours and is your championship. So tell me a little bit who you want to thank for the victory in the championship and for this good run tonight.
Well, first and foremost, the team. Without this team, Team Esport Racer, I would not be able to be here right now. So that's Jordy Fike, Greg Brockway, Greg Mack, Mitchell Peak, Zach Burke in the background, and I don't know. I'm so thankful to be in a team with these guys. They really are top class people. Our sponsor, GB Consulting, for the computing power, Esport Art for the paint. You guys for the great broadcast, Extreme for the league, Ricmotech Racing Simulators, Proforma Elite Texas Graphics for supporting the league, and all the drivers here. It's just a wonderful, wonderful league to be in. I'm just so happy to be here.
All right, Larry, before we let Brennan go, we do have the points updated now. I want to thank the folks, our league administrators, for getting that done. Final point standings, Brendan Horn coming home with 198 points. That is a margin of 34 points over Edgar Sanchinelli, who will move up to second in the standings. Steve Daniel dropping down to third with 159. So, Brennan, congratulations from my end as well.
Thanks a lot, Greg, Larry. It's been an awesome season listening to you guys through all the broadcasts, and you guys just make it, one step higher for all of us watching.
Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate the nice, kind words there, and congratulations to you. You have been a joy to watch all season long. Can't wait to see you next season.
Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you.
All right, there you go. That was Brennan Horn, our open category champion in the number 45 Esport Racer Machine. And Larry, I guess everybody got scared off by that great interview from Brennan, because everybody else hit the road. Even again, I think we ran into this before. I think it's past Dean's bedtime.
He was on there for a brief moment. You got to learn. You got to grab him first.
I know, got to grab him first. All right. Well, next time I will know. But I don't believe we have any of our other drivers here. So tell you what, why don't we go? We just talked about the final point standings here in the open category. Let's move over to the pro category.
And it does look like Mitchell Peak is going to walk away with that championship. 225 points for Mitchell Peak to win the pro class and that overall top point. So congratulations to him. He can crack open the bubbly that he said he early on there was going to have next one. Probably not the finish. I think he mentioned
it wasn't bubbly. I would assume probably like Moosehead or something.
Well, I did ask him if he didn't have champagne, maybe it was a Molson, but he did not say specifically what it was. But I'm sure he could at least celebrate the championship, even if the end of the race wasn't quite as he would have hoped. Looks like coming open second with that great run today, Travis Schwenke takes over the second spot, jumps past Mike Dam actually to take second. Congratulations to Travis, second place here on the podium for the overall points of the season. Mike Dam going to come home third in that season in this series. And John Allen, even though missed a couple rounds, he's going to be fourth. Robert Hartley also missed a few rounds. He's in fifth, and he's our race winner tonight. Let's not forget, we got to talk about Robert Hartley and that performance tonight. Calculated victory tonight in that he was hanging back early on, came in, did a bit of an undercut on pits, came right back out there with Mitchell Peak, had the battle with Mitch and with Travis. And when Travis and Mitchell came together, Rob was able to go on and take that victory, like his fourth or fifth win of the season, I think, or something like that. He's definitely been around only a handful of races, and he wins a lot of them. So Rob Hartley, great win tonight. I think he said he's going to be in 5th in the points. Jeff Jacobs on down the order there in the pro class. So I think it's a great season. Great way to wind out the season. Very exciting couple of rounds of both the pro class and the open class here in the finale. And I love this series.
Yeah, I absolutely adore it, Larry. Always some great, tight, close racing. And, as we wrap up this season, and we're going to be coming back with the Classic Sprint Series in January of 2022, kind of reminds me of another series in the Ricmotech family, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. But let's go and take a look at our upcoming schedule here. We have 2 races on the docket next week. That is Monday night, October 11th. The Ricmotech World Challenge returns. It is round 3. Not going to be at Road America. So I think we didn't mean to say it last week, but we're going to be at Suzuka. We're going to be heading to the east, heading to Japan. Our LMP2 and GT3 drivers will be showing their mettle round 3 of an 8-round season. And then in 2 weeks, October 18th, it's round 3 of 7 for our Lamborghini Trophy Series. This is our fixed setup series. We're actually still looking for entrants. If you want to join the Lambo Trophy Series, go to extrememotorsports99.com. Great prize package. We're raffling off to the driver, to basically any of the drivers that pick up points in the series, a free drive in a Lamborghini Huracan at Las Vegas Motor Speedway and coaching from a professional coach. It's a great prize package there. The more points you earn in the series, the bigger chance you have to win. So definitely go and do that. Hey, and Larry, before we wrap up here, and actually, Dennis, I'm going to throw a little curveball at you. We've got Travis Schwenke now sitting in the green room. Why don't we bring him in real quick, and then we will wrap things up. So let's bring in Travis Schwenke, driver of the number 16 Orion Racing Mazda MX-5.
Travis Schwenke, Travis, welcome to the interview booth here at the end. Pretty wild ending to that race after a pretty strong run. Walk me through, I guess, those closing laps in that battle and ultimately the contact with Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, I was just running the laps. I knew that he really couldn't get a run. He was pretty far back, and we had that traffic and such, and you could tell he was pushing pretty hard on that last lap. But the angle of my car, he has no overlap. I'm going toward that side over there, and he just kept shoving it in until he hit me. So I really don't know what to say. I mean, he's got a championship on the line, and he's going to shove it on the inside when there's not even a car width over there. So it's unfortunate. I was trying to run a clean race when he went side by side with me earlier. I was thinking, man, this isn't very smart either, and but I was going to run him clean for sure. So I definitely didn't felt like I had every right to move over there because he had 0 overlap when I was doing it. So.
Yeah, that was a tough way for that race to end. But for you, we look at the overall points; they are updated. It looks like you're going to finish 2nd in the points in this championship. That's a strong way to finish in this series. I mean, that's give me a reaction finishing 2nd in this very, very tough pro class category.
I guess I'll say it's unfortunate for Mike, right? That's really Mike's spot. He had a great season all year, and he really earned that position with his driving all season and pole positions and everything he did and the work he put in. And it's unfortunate for an early penalty and then contact with another team that caused him to go out today. So it's unfortunate. He was really working hard to get back up there.
Yeah, he was quick tonight. It's a tough way to have to serve that penalty, and a lot of tough things about this race for sure. But,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I tell you what, you're gonna go back and watch this one, and it's somewhere around that 58 mark. Just go ahead and turn the race off because the first 58 were just fantastic for you. Great pit stop for you to be able to come right back out there in front of Mike and in front of Mitch, and then have that last couple battles going on to the last lap. And for you, not a bad finish for you in this race. Anybody you want to thank for tonight and for this season?
Well, I'll definitely thank Team Orion for supporting us through this series, and definitely HPP and JRT, because JRT is what gets my fuel right every time. I'll tell you that. So it's definitely nice to have it. I always run pre-numbers, but that definitely helps. And special shout out to the team members in here, Mike and Rob.
Awesome. Yeah, great team you guys have, and very successful across the board, with obviously Rob taking the win here tonight and a lot of wins this season, in fact, but great success for you guys all around. So congratulations on the second overall and the points in this season, and definitely looking forward to seeing you as the next season comes around.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, there you go. That was Travis Schwenke finishing second tonight in his Orion Racing Mazda MX-5. Larry, going to throw one more curveball at you. Going to bring in Edgar Sancinelli, finishing tonight third in the open category, but more importantly, finishing second in the points in his number 57 Frito Sport entry. Here is Edgar.
All right, Edgar. So we just did the points, and you're going to finish second in the open category. Interesting race tonight. Walk me through a little bit of that and a little bit of your overall season coming up in second.
Hey guys. Well, I'll just say I was really nervous coming into this round because I knew I was trailing Steve Daniel there, and I knew he had a bad race, and I wasn't sure what I could do here to get ahead of him for the P2. I knew Brendan had ran away with it, so I just wanted to run a clean race and try to be fast, but this track's never been kind to me.
Well, tonight it was not kind to Steve Daniel, but you ended up in a couple of battles there throughout this race. I think right up there at the end, kind of also right there behind Jeff Jacobs. He's in the other class, but you got to enjoy mixing it up with some of these other veterans around, regardless if it's for class or not.
Yeah, we've taken some different approaches to the car setups, and it's paid off at times. And then other times, I know I crashed out at, I think it was Donington. But yeah, it was great to race here with Jeff, and some of the guys I usually just barely try to hang on to. So I've gotten to see some things and learn some things from them as well. Pretty much throughout half of the season here.
Yeah, it's a great league, and there's so many good drivers in the league. So kind of tagging on them for a while, you can learn quite a bit. So really looking forward to seeing you in next season. Hopefully you'll come back and join us for season 20. I think is what we've got a Classic Sprint Series lined up for next season.
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll be here. And the last season I got P3, this time P2. So would like to go for the P1, but
more step.
Right, it'll be tough.
All right. Well, good luck on that. We'll be looking forward to it as well. So, Edgar, thanks for joining us tonight, and congratulations again on finishing second overall.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And thanks to the drivers in the league, my family, and you guys in the booth.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Edgar.
All right, there you go. That was Edgar Sancinelli, driver of the number 57 Frito Sport Racing entry, finishing third tonight in his race in the open category and second overall.
Want to do one more?
Yeah, Larry, why don't we? I think this one is awfully important. Let's bring, he just left.
Oh, we almost had one more. All right.
Almost had him. Almost had Mitchell back. He had that drink. All right. So we can't wait around here forever. So tell you what, let's go back. Let's get back to where we were a second ago. Again, October 11th, Ricmotech World Challenge. October 18th, Lamborghini Trophy Series, our fixed setup series. We are still looking for entrants. So come on, head on over to Extreme Motorsports 99. That's Extreme with an X. It's on the screen right there. You should be able to see it. ExtremeMotorsports99.com, and you can sign up for the Lamborghini Trophy Series, a fixed setup series. And it's had some great action. 30-minute sprint races, inverted grids for the second race. Absolutely tight racing and exciting racing. You don't want to miss it. And if you can't watch it, you might as well race in it, or maybe it's the other way around. All right, so let's start to wrap things up here. Again, if you like what you saw, if you like my rambling and mumbling here, go ahead and click that thumbs up button.
And if you don't like it, don't hold it against them. Still come back and watch the races.
Still smash that thumbs up button, and go ahead and subscribe to Apex Racing TV and click on that notification bell so you can find out about all the great events that we have coming up. And of course, you can catch us on social media, on Facebook if it's actually up and running, Instagram if it's actually live, or Twitter. Just search for Apex Racing TV, all one word. All right, for Larry McLeod, I'm Greg Ginsburg. We will see you next Monday night, 8 p.m. for Ricmotech World Challenge, live from Suzuka.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.